If you guys ever been to San Jose, it's basically a ghost town. There's like almost 100 empty storefronts. There's empty restaurants, empty grocery stores, condos and apartments are empty, but they're still trying to charge you guys $3,000 a month for a shoebox. San Jose is basically a city where nobody is chilling. It's pretty sad to see San Jose like this because before the pandemic, it still had some people. Now it's completely empty. In fact, San Jose is so empty that there's not even any homeless people. That's how crazy San Jose is. And Google's 80-acre San Jose mega campus is now on hold. The company is seeing that the economy is slowing down. If you look at the latest GDP reports, it's actually not even beating some of the lowest estimates that Wall Street tossed out there. So Google is now halting this construction. They don't want to start this, okay? They actually started the first demolition phase. So they actually cleared out like a large section of the land. And they're like, hold on a second. Before we start building these massive towers and huge buildings, let's reevaluate. First of all, economy is slowing down, and especially interest rates are super high. And you know Google is not going to be taking out cold hard cash for this project. Companies always like taking out fat loans for projects because just in case something happens, they could easily just default on the loan and everything's okay. And with interest rates being at such a high level and they're still hiking up rates, of course Google would not be willing to build this, especially if there's major delays. We all know that construction projects this size in California always has crazy high delays and may exceed their price target. And not to mention, CFO and Google says on the company's last earnings call, Google will be expected to incur cost of $500 million in the first quarter to reduce global office space. Now, one of the biggest things with some of these tech companies and finance companies, especially Charles Schwab, is they're trying to decrease their office footprint. They're starting to notice, hold on a second, our employees could work just as efficient, if not even better, and we could downgrade our offices and save a crap ton of money. And by saving a lot of money, we're talking about a lot of money. Like Charles Schwab downgraded their offices in San Francisco, Denver, Chicago, etc. They're going to be saving $500 million every year, and they could use that money for other things. And Schwab is no way the size of Google, and they are saving $500 million. I'm sure Google is probably licking their lips right now. It's like, you know what? Let's just move online at this point. Now, it's not just going to be, Google's project being whole. Now, Google's 80-acre San Jose mega campus is cool, but what's even scarier to go along with that is dozens of downtown vacant stores, right? So you have this project being canceled, and with that project being canceled, Google is not going to be reviving San Jose. Because if this campus was built, I guarantee many of the shops here, many of the apartments here will be filled out. And it would have been like a really good investment. And to this day, Google has not announced continuing the project. In fact, there's even been a lot of reports from major news outlets saying that Google's like, we're going to put this on hold indefinitely. We're still going to keep the land. We're not selling it, but at the same time, we'll give you no timeline of when we'll start constructing this campus, meaning we're never constructing the campus ever. Okay, they've stopped constructing, and that's a smart move, right? Especially, you could probably get several foreclosed buildings around the San Jose area for cheap. There's so many buildings in downtown San Jose that are foreclosed with no tenants. There's so many buildings in the Bay Area and Silicon Valley that's completely vacant. You'll probably cop like 5 to 10 towers at 50 to 70% off. Way cheaper than building a massive campus. And that's what's happening, right? For a lot of these projects, like for example, this one, it's a $1.2 billion skyscraper, and this is going to be Hayes Points. This is 30 Van Ness Streets, and this is a 47-story condo with apartments and hotels and office space and amenities, and they are now completely halting construction. A crane could be spotted, and they already flattened the land, got some machinery, and even got some people on here, but more specifically, people are just leaving this area, right? This is a location that's pretty great. It's right next to Twitter headquarters, but guess what? They're canceling the project because skyscrapers around it are being foreclosed. So why would investors spend so much money building this thing when they could just buy a foreclosed building right next door? San Francisco real estate is so busted. Bay Area real estate is so busted. I mean, you already have some of the biggest declines in condo construction. Like 2021, they constructed 5,000 condos in San Francisco. 2022, it was 2,500. And this year, 2023, it's like a few hundred. It's pretty scary to see how many of these massive construction projects are halting everywhere in the Bay Area. It's not normal because if you go to Miami, there's crazy high amounts of construction. Go to Austin, crazy high amounts of construction. Even Manhattan, of all of its problems, is having crazy high amounts of construction. The Bay Area is now completely dead with some of the biggest construction companies now pulling out. Same thing what's happening to a lot of these super far left cities like Portland, Seattle. Portland got their Hoffman Construction Group. They're leaving the city because they can't find work. There's no construction. There's no investors. Same thing with Seattle. Building is at an all-time low. And especially San Francisco, there is probably zero building at this point. In fact, it's so bad, even boutique, smaller developers who make these condo buildings just to sell it, they can't even sell a single unit. How sad is that? Imagine you built this whole entire building, you list each unit on the market, and nobody wants it. And it's like brand new construction. And I looked at the prices. It's not even that outrageous of a price for San Francisco standards. And nobody bought it. So they listed the building at $19 million. Nobody wanted it. Listed it for $16 million. Nobody wants it. And now it's back to the bank. The bank is now trying to list it for like 14, 15 mil, but nobody wants this either. I think you got to sell this for like $1 for anyone to want this building. It's pretty sad. I'm sure the landlord probably thought about renting it out, but even renters don't want this. This is how down bad the real estate situation is in San Francisco and the Bay Area, right? I mean, San Jose is taking a massive beating. So pretty much all the Bay Area having foreclosed hotels, foreclosed office towers, and of course foreclosed condos all around the board. And you have the famous NEMA skyscraper right next to the X headquarters, which is also a massive homeless encampment. This building may be foreclosing very soon because not a lot of people are going for luxury rentals. In fact, a lot of the wealthy residents of the Bay Area have already left for other areas. Like you probably have seen stories of big tech tycoons living in Portugal, but their business is in San Francisco. Or like guys living in Vancouver, but their business is in San Francisco. Like this is what we're seeing now. Like rich residents still have their mailing address in San Francisco for business, but they're actually living somewhere else. And I don't blame them because there's so many better other areas on this planet to live in. So this is going to be defaulting on a $400 million loan, most likely. They can't even pay their basic necessities. I mean, at this point, they could barely pay their staff and property tax. It's really, really sad. And also, the whole entire break-ins of cars and the crazy high crime, it's not helping at all. I mean, look at these tourists. They got their cars broken in, and it looks like this now. It absolutely sucks to be a tourist in San Francisco. I mean, it looks like this, like cars being broken in. This is like supposed to be a vacation hotspot. I mean, look at this, Walgreens being broken in, spray paint everywhere. This is like not a place where you want to be making a business. And San Francisco is very, very strapped bad. They really need businesses to flourish here. But with record amounts of businesses leaving, this is becoming a ghost town. And I don't blame Google for canceling this project because they're probably going to be losing a crap ton of money. They're going to spend all this money building this campus, and then suddenly all their entire workforce is moving online. So this whole entire campus is basically useless. So what's going to happen to the construction in San Francisco and the Bay Area? Well, it's probably going to slow down to near zero because even big tech companies are like, hold on a second. If we really need another office, can't we just like buy a foreclosed one? And that's exactly what's happening, right? We're seeing some of the wildest transactions, like 75% off. Wells Fargo building in San Francisco in a good area, listed for $160 million. They only sold it for a little over $40 million. That's pretty bad. So scary stuff is happening in the economic sector. Let's see what unravels.